The sun was setting over the small southern town of Willow Creek, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. Dr. Maya Bennett, a renowned civil rights attorney, was driving home after a long day at the courthouse. She was tired, but her heart was full. She'd just won a case that would protect dozens of families from eviction. Her mind wandered to her grandmother's stories of struggle and hope, and she smiled, feeling the weight of legacy on her shoulders. As Maya turned onto a quiet country road, blue lights flashed in her rearview mirror. She pulled over, her hands steady, but her heart uneasy. Two police officers approached, their faces hard and unreadable. "License and registration," one barked. Maya complied, her voice calm. "Is there a problem, officers?" she asked. The taller cop sneered. "You don't belong out here. Step out of the car." Maya's pulse quickened, but she did as she was told. The officers searched her car, tossing her briefcase aside, scattering her legal papers in the dirt. "What's this?" the second cop demanded, holding up a folder stamped with the state seal. "I'm an attorney," Maya replied, her voice steady. "I have every right to be here." The officers exchanged a look, their suspicion deepening. Without warning, they grabbed her arms, twisting them behind her back. "You think you're better than us?" the taller one spat. "We'll teach you a lesson." They dragged Maya to a tree at the edge of the road, tying her wrists to the rough bark with a length of rope. Her skin burned, but she held her head high, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing her fear. The officers laughed, snapping photos on their phones. "Let's see how long you last out here," one jeered. They drove off, leaving Maya alone in the gathering darkness. She listened to the sound of their car fading, then to the quiet hum of crickets and the distant call of an owl. She closed her eyes, drawing strength from the memory of her grandmother's voice. "You are stronger than they know." As the night deepened, Maya's mind raced. She thought of her clients, her family, the countless people who depended on her. She refused to let despair take root. Instead, she focused on the knots, working them with numb fingers. Hours passed. Her wrists bled, but she didn't stop. Finally, as dawn broke, the rope loosened. Maya collapsed to the ground, exhausted, but free. She stumbled to the road, flagging down a passing truck. The driver, an elderly man named Mr. Harris, recognized her immediately. "Dr. Bennett, what happened?" he cried, helping her into the cab. Maya told him everything, her voice shaking with fatigue and anger. Mr. Harris drove her straight to the sheriff's office, refusing to leave her side. The sheriff, a grizzled man with tired eyes, listened in silence as Maya recounted her ordeal. He called in the two officers, who denied everything. But Maya had evidence. The rope burns on her wrists. The photos the officers had foolishly posted to a private group chat, which had been leaked by a disgusted colleague. The truth was undeniable. News of the incident spread quickly. The town was outraged, but divided. Some called for justice, others for silence. Maya faced threats and slurs, but also an outpouring of support from those who knew her work. She refused to back down, pressing charges against the officers and demanding a full investigation. The trial was tense, the courtroom packed with reporters and townspeople. Maya testified with dignity, her voice unwavering. The officers tried to justify their actions, but their lies unraveled under cross-examination. The jury deliberated for hours, then returned with a verdict: guilty on all counts. The officers were sentenced to prison, their badges stripped, their reputations ruined. Maya stood outside the courthouse, surrounded by supporters. She spoke not of vengeance, but of hope. Justice is not about punishment, she said. It's about change. We must confront the darkness in our communities and in ourselves if we are to build a better future. In the months that followed, Willow Creek began to change. The police department underwent mandatory training on bias and de-escalation. Community leaders formed a task force to address systemic racism. Maya continued her work, mentoring young lawyers and advocating for those without a voice. But the scars remained. Maya struggled with nightmares, with the memory of the rope and the laughter of the men who had tried to break her. She found solace in her family, in the strength of her ancestors, and in the knowledge that her suffering had sparked a movement. One evening, as she walked through the town square, a young girl approached her. "Dr. Bennett, you're my hero," the girl whispered. Maya knelt, taking the child's hand. "You are your own hero," she replied. "Never let anyone tell you otherwise." Maya's story became a beacon, not just for Willow Creek, but for towns across the country. Her courage inspired others to speak out, to demand justice, to believe in the possibility of redemption. The officers who had tied her to the tree were forgotten, but Maya's legacy endured, a testament to the power of resilience and the unbreakable spirit of those who refuse to be silenced. In the weeks after the trial, Maya's life was a whirlwind of interviews, meetings, and community gatherings. She was invited to speak at universities and churches, her story echoing through auditoriums packed with people hungry for change. Each time, she spoke not just of her own ordeal, but of the countless others who had suffered in silence. "My story is not unique," she reminded them. "It is the story of so many who have been unseen and unheard." Maya's courage inspired others to come forward. A local teacher shared her experience of harassment by the same officers. A young man, once too afraid to speak, told his story of being wrongfully detained. The town, once divided by fear and prejudice, began to listen. Community forums were held, and for the first time, people from all backgrounds sat together, sharing their pain and their hopes. The police department, under new leadership, reached out to Maya for guidance. She was wary at first, but agreed to help. She led workshops on implicit bias, de-escalation, and the history of civil rights. Some officers resisted, but others listened, their eyes opening to the harm that unchecked power could cause. Maya saw the slow, painful process of change begin to take root. At home, Maya struggled with the trauma she carried. She woke from nightmares, her wrists aching with phantom pain. Her mother sat with her in the quiet hours, holding her hand and reminding her of the strength that ran in their blood. "You are not alone," her mother whispered. "We carry this together." Maya found comfort in those words and in the love of her family. One afternoon, Maya received a letter from the mother of one of the officers. The woman apologized for her son's actions, her words raw with regret. "I raised him to be better," she wrote. "I am so sorry for what he did to you." Maya wept as she read the letter, feeling the weight of shared sorrow. She wrote back, offering forgiveness and urging the woman to help others learn from her son's mistakes. Maya's law practice flourished. She took on more civil rights cases, fighting for those who had been wronged by the system. She mentored young black women, teaching them not just the law, but the power of their own voices. Her office became a sanctuary for those seeking justice, a place where hope was rekindled and dignity restored. The town of Willow Creek continued to change. The task force Maya helped create launched new initiatives, scholarships for marginalized youth, community policing programs, and public art projects celebrating diversity. The old wounds did not heal overnight, but the scars became reminders of what had been overcome. One evening, Maya attended a candlelight vigil in the town square. Hundreds gathered, holding candles against the darkness. Maya spoke softly, her words carrying on the night air. "We are here because we believe in something better. We are here because we know that justice is possible, even when it seems out of reach." The crowd listened, united by hope. After the vigil, a former police officer approached Maya. He had resigned after the trial, unable to reconcile his conscience with the actions of his colleagues. "You changed me," he admitted. "I want to help make things right." Maya shook his hand, grateful for his honesty. She knew that true change required not just new laws, but new hearts. Maya's story spread beyond Willow Creek. National news outlets covered her journey, and civil rights organizations invited her to speak at conferences. She traveled the country, sharing her message of resilience and redemption. Each time, she reminded her audience that justice was not a destination, but a journey, one that required courage, compassion, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Maya's work took her to cities where the wounds of injustice ran deep. In each place, she listened to stories of pain and perseverance. She met mothers who had lost sons, fathers who had lost hope, and children who had learned to fear those meant to protect them. Maya carried their stories with her, letting them fuel her fight for change. She knew that her own suffering was part of a much larger tapestry of struggle and survival. In one city, Maya was asked to consult on a case eerily similar to her own. A young black woman had been brutalized by police, her dignity stripped away in a moment of unchecked power. Maya sat with her, holding her hand as she wept. "You are not alone," Maya whispered, echoing her mother's words. Together, they built a case, and together, they won. The victory was bittersweet, a reminder of how much work remained. Back in Willow Creek, Maya's presence was felt everywhere. She was invited to join the city council, where her voice brought new perspectives to old debates. She pushed for policies that addressed the root causes of injustice: poverty, lack of education, and systemic bias. Some resisted, but many listened, moved by her unwavering commitment to justice. Maya's family remained her anchor. Her mother's wisdom, her father's quiet strength, and her siblings' laughter kept her grounded. On weekends, they gathered for meals, sharing stories and dreams. Maya cherished these moments, knowing that love was the foundation of her resilience. She often told her nieces and nephews, "You are the future. Never let anyone make you feel small." As the years passed, Maya's influence grew. She was honored with awards and invitations to the White House, but she never lost sight of her purpose. She used her platform to amplify the voices of those still fighting for justice. She reminded the world that progress was possible, but only if people were willing to confront their own biases and fears. One day, Maya received a call from the governor's office. She was being considered for a judgeship, a chance to shape the law from the bench. The offer was both humbling and daunting. Maya spent long nights in prayer and reflection, seeking guidance from her ancestors. In the end, she accepted, determined to bring compassion and fairness to the courtroom. As a judge, Maya faced new challenges. She saw firsthand the ways the system could fail the most vulnerable. She made it her mission to ensure that every person who entered her courtroom was treated with dignity. She listened carefully, weighed each case with empathy, and never forgot the night she had been tied to a tree. Maya's reputation as a fair and compassionate judge spread quickly. Lawyers and litigants alike respected her wisdom and integrity. She became a mentor to young attorneys, especially women of color. encouraging them to pursue justice with courage and humility. Her chambers became a place of learning and hope. Maya's courtroom became a symbol of hope in Willow Creek. People who once feared the justice system now found a judge who listened, who saw them as human beings, not just case numbers. She made time for restorative justice, bringing together victims and offenders to seek understanding and healing. Some cases ended in tears, others in forgiveness, but all left a mark on the community. One day, a young man stood before Maya, charged with vandalism. He was angry, defensive, and clearly scared. Maya looked him in the eye and asked, "What happened in your life that brought you here?" The question caught him off guard. He spoke of poverty, of feeling invisible, of lashing out because he felt powerless. Maya listened, then offered him a chance to make amends through community service and counseling. He accepted, and months later returned to thank her for believing in him. Stories like his became common. Maya's approach was unconventional, but it worked. Recidivism rates dropped, and the community grew stronger. People began to see the justice system not as a weapon, but as a tool for healing. Maya's colleagues took notice, and soon other judges adopted her methods, spreading the ripple of change even further. Despite her success, Maya never forgot the night that changed her life. She still bore the scars, both physical and emotional. Some nights she woke in a cold sweat, the memory of rough hands and cruel laughter haunting her dreams. But she faced each day with courage, determined to turn her pain into purpose. Maya's family remained her greatest support. Her mother often reminded her, "You are the answer to someone's prayer." Those words gave Maya strength on the hardest days. She leaned on her faith, her community, and the love that surrounded her. She knew that her journey was not just her own, but part of a larger story of resilience and hope. As Maya's influence grew, so did the backlash. Some accused her of being too lenient, of caring more about offenders than victims. Others resented her success, whispering that she had only risen because of her ordeal. Maya faced the criticism with grace, refusing to be defined by others' opinions. She knew who she was, and she knew the value of her work. One evening, after a long day in court, Maya received a letter from the young man she had once sentenced to community service. He wrote of how her kindness had changed his life, how he had gone back to school and was now mentoring others. "You saw me when no one else did," he wrote. Maya wept as she read his words, grateful for the chance to make a difference. Years passed, and Maya's legacy grew. She was invited to speak at national conferences, her story inspiring judges, lawyers, and activists across the country. She always spoke of the night she was tied to a tree, not as a tale of victimhood, but as a turning point that revealed the power of courage, forgiveness, and community. Her message was clear. Justice is not just about punishment. It's about healing and about seeing the humanity in everyone. Maya's work led to policy changes statewide. Restorative justice programs expanded, and police departments adopted new training focused on empathy and de-escalation. The scars of Willow Creek's past began to fade, replaced by murals of hope and unity. Maya's courtroom became a model for others, and her name was spoken with respect and gratitude. One day, Maya was honored with a national award for her contributions to justice and civil rights. As she stood on stage, she looked out at a crowd filled with faces of every color and background. She thought of her grandmother, her mother, and all those who had come before her. "We are the dreams of our ancestors," she said. "Let us honor them by building a world where no one is left behind." After the ceremony, Maya returned home to Willow Creek. She walked through the town square, now vibrant with life and laughter. Children played beneath the tree where she had once been tied, their joy a testament to how far the community had come. Maya smiled, knowing that her pain had not been in vain. That evening, as the sun set, Maya sat with her family on the porch. Her mother squeezed her hand, pride shining in her eyes. "You changed this town, Maya. You changed all of us." Maya shook her head gently. "We did it together. And we'll keep going, for those who still need justice, and for those who need hope." Maya's story became a legend in Willow Creek and beyond, a story of bravery, moral justice, and the hidden struggles of everyday people. It was a reminder that even in the face of cruelty, kindness and courage could prevail, and it was proof that redemption was possible, not just for individuals, but for entire communities willing to face their past and choose a better future. As the stars appeared above, Maya whispered a quiet prayer of thanks for her family, for her community, and for the chance to turn suffering into strength. She knew her journey was not over, but she faced the future with hope, her heart full of the promise that justice, at its best, is an act of depth.